Welcome back to Sunday Vibes, one and all. I hope you're having a very, very chilled out Sunday. Here I am, joined with George Wright and Patrick Van Straten to ask some of your carefully selected questions that you've been sending in all week, basically. First one comes from RMA Nation. He says, how many more seasons will Cristiano Ronaldo still be considered as one of the best? Hashtag Sunday Vibes. It's a harsh one in my opinion. I still think he's absolutely killing it, whoever your name is, RAM Nation, Anonymous. George, what do you think?
Well, for me, as long as he kicks a football in Europe, he's still going to be one of the best. I mean, he's transitioning into a striker really well as well. He's a lot more
Very
central. And it's just, I think as long as he can keep fit and then knee injuries stay away, I just think he'll always remain at top level. He's so, like, what can you argue against him, to be honest, apart from the injuries and his general fitness?
He's still banging goals in for fun, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, how much they're going to limit his time. Like, Zidane's been limiting it this season, which means that when he plays, he's still really, really good.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he's had his worst league scoring season since his last year at Man United.
Yeah,
he's only got 24 league goals this season.
But he's still scored a lot of goals.
Oh yeah, if he scores on the final day of the season or in the Champions League final, then he'll be on 40 goals. For the year, and that'll be, I think, his 7th consecutive season, scoring 40 goals or more.
Ridiculous.
But, yeah, like I said, 24 goals in the league is not like exceptional for Cristiano Ronaldo. But when you consider that Alexis Sanchez has numbers like that this season, and we're saying that he's been like unbelievable in terms of goals scoring from Romelu Lukaku, they're talking about £70 million for him, and all these people have scored about the same number as a 32-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. Then, like, how good does that make him still? I mean, he's
100%.
He's still unbelievable.
And also, I'm not sure there's anybody in world football that is as professional as him in terms of looking after their body, in terms of fitness, in terms of off the pitch, training regimes. Maybe Zlatan Ibrahimovic up there as well. I never see Cristiano Ronaldo injured. He's picked up niggles now and then, but you've never seen him do an ACL or tear a hamstring where you think later in life that could come back to bite him, a little bit like Michael Owen. I think that if Cristiano Ronaldo can keep working as hard as he does off the field, he's got like 5-6 years left in him at the very top.
There's no reason he couldn't play like Zlatan.
Whether or not he stays in Madrid remains to be seen, but I imagine him going to like Juventus when he's like 34 and playing as that out-and-out striker role.
I think he'll retire at Madrid.
You think he'll retire at Madrid? Why not go to the US as well?
Because what's in it for him? He's still going to be the best paid player. He's going to be paid as much as Madrid as he would in
But the
America.
same sort of thing as Beckham. I think later in life he's going to try and become sort of like a bit of a fashion celebrity icon, like male model style David Beckham role. And I think the US is the perfect launch ground for that in terms of branded opportunities, in terms of massive social media outreach, and that's what Bex did fantastically
But is
well.
that still true? Like when Beckham went, like he was kind of the first genuine superstar to go and do it, and there was a huge amount of press coverage and stuff. There would be obviously coverage if Ronaldo went, but at the same time, like Thierry Henry went, who's one of like the greatest players of the last 20 years.
Didn't really
and nobody really
cared.
cared.
But he doesn't have that off-the-pitch persona of Ronaldo. You know, that sort of like modelling shoots, Calvin Klein, like that's what strikes me about Cristiano Ronaldo, that he's not going to go into punditry like Thierry Henry has done. He's not going to go into management. He's going to try and build an off-the-pitch brand like CR7, like David Beckham did, and he's going to try and take that on, like massive millions of pounds off that. And the only way to do that is to break America.
I wonder how much America gives a shit. Like,
I don't think it matters. I think he's already at arguably the biggest club in the world, earning a ridiculous amount of money, and he's on the best stage. He can be at that stage for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
But what's going to like New York, Los Angeles going to do for
like football in Europe is the biggest sports market, and he's the biggest fish in it. If he goes to the US, then soccer is like a relatively small sports market within the US, and being the biggest fish in it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I see what you're saying. If he does want to become like more of a brand thing, which I assume he does, then I could see him going there. But for the time being, he's got plenty of money, and he must look at people like, you know, Zidane and think this would be a way to bow out.
Should Zidane be looking to move him on this summer, do you think? Or next summer and give him Morata an out-and-out berth? Or what? Should he still be starting at that number 9 role, Cristiano?
I think he'll move centrally and they have to bring a winger in.
Bring a winger in?
Yeah, and he can move Ronaldo centrally.
I think he's got Asensio though, and he's going to sell James. James can still play wide.
Asensio looks special. I mean, he looked special last season at Espanyol, but I think if I was Zidane, I would probably move on Benzema this summer.
And what, move CR7 central?
Yeah, then you've got him and Morata as your two strikers. You can even play two up top. I think that I really love Benzema. He's amazing. He's had a real late career, like renaissance. But he's 29 this season. He's got 10 goals in the league. He's actually got the same number of league goals as Isco this season. Alvaro Morata has outscored him despite being the second choice. So I think that Benzema, you can move him on. You can probably still get a decent amount of money. Maybe a Man United, maybe a Paris Saint-Germain might be interested. Get rid of him, and then, or Lyon even if they sell Lacazette.
Ooh.
And then you've got Moratas and you've got Ronaldos. You've got one of the best strikers in the world now, and somebody who'll probably be one of the best strikers in the world very shortly.
But what do you guys at home think? How long has CR7 got left at the very top of world football? Let us know in the comments below. BMW Gaming 27 loves cars has the next question. Who was the player you used to pretend to be in the park as a kid when you were playing football with your mates? George writes, who are you going for?
Well, it's only one man, Dennis Bergkamp.
Dennis Bergkamp.
I knew you were going to say Dennis Bergkamp.
It's a great call. Come on.
I remember like when I was playing, like especially in primary school as well. When it's like I'm at football basically, but it's like
You're back heel merch.
yeah, it's like when the ball came to me, like my mates used to like say, "Why don't you go to the ball?" It's like Dennis Bergkamp never went to the ball, so why should I?
What about you, Pat?
I mean, I liked Bergkamp as well because I was always just really slow, but I used to practice a lot. So I was like, oh well, if I get my technique down, then that'll be fine. But actually, the player who I always really loved was Luis Figo.
Really?
Like, I had that really sick Portugal shirt as a kid with the green sleeves and like the wine red burgundy torso. It was so good, and just Figo was like a really exciting player. Then I mean, like towards the end of the time when I was like pretending to be someone on the playground was when he went for like a world record fee. But like, I don't know, I just loved him. We forget how good he was. He was absolutely amazing.
I know. Mine was Eric Jemba.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was Paul Scholes, obviously. I always used to play in midfield, and then I'd always just go Scholesy, and then somebody would roll it back to me. I'd scuff a shot, Scholesies, and then roll it off and scuff
Man
a
United
shot.
player, Ginger.
Absolute
Couldn't
perfection.
tackle.
Yeah, filth. The next question comes from Ishan Sodi. Could be Sodai, could also be Sodi. I'm not too sure. I'm just guessing your pronunciation. They say, because I don't know whether it's a boy or a girl either, who is the best African player of all time? African origin. So we are saying here they have to have been born in Africa.
Yeah.
So people like Zidane don't count because he was born in France, but people like Patrick Vieira do count because he moved to France.
My dad counts.
Try and understand that logic.
Rubbish.
Pato, who are you going to say?
George and I have been arguing about this.
Yeah.
George and I have been arguing about this for weeks, and I am going to say Yaya Toure. I've never seen
You're obsessed by him. Every Sunday Vibes, you talk about Yaya Toure like he's the best thing.
Number one fan.
When he starts getting the credit he deserves, I'll shut up about Yaya Toure. Like, what would you do? Okay, if people just thought of Paul Scholes as just like, if people thought of Paul Scholes the way they think of like Michael Carrick, they're like very good player, but like not like
they won't.
You know, one of a kind. Yeah, but that's my point. People do that with Yaya Toure. They don't give him the credit he deserves. He's an amazing, amazing player. Could do everything in midfield. Could play number 10. Could play up front. I've said it a million times before. I think you also have to shout out Marcel Desailly, who was absolutely incredible, greatest laugh in football. And I also think, I mean, none of us have seen him play, but Eusebio, by all accounts, was pretty special.
Yeah, where was he
Mario
from?
Kaluna,
Mozambique.
born in Mozambique.
Mozambique. Georgios?
Paddy V, mate.
Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
Where was he born?
He was born in Senegal.
Born in Senegal, moved to France.
Yeah.
So he counts on this list. Why him?
I think he's the best midfielder the Premier League's ever seen.
Oh, I'll have a day off.
I mean, he's certainly better than Paul Scholes, I'll give you that.
Why is he not? Give me one reason why he's not.
Because of Yaya Toure. That's why.
Oh. No, I don't think either of them.
Well, he's just had
Yaya Toure was better than Paul Scholes.
Just Vieira had everything you want in a midfielder. He had all the physical attributes. He was a leader. He was amazing technically. He had amazing football intelligence.
Yeah.
Like, what else?
He had the longest legs I've ever seen.
Every time I watch the Invincible season, it seems like Vieira scores every game. it's like ridiculous. He's involved in everything, and it's just I've never seen a midfielder like him. I mean, Yaya Toure is obviously unbelievable, and poor Diaby could have been half decent if he wasn't in the hospital bed half the time.
Yeah, I mean, like if he, like imagine if like you have a midfielder who like has the scoring instincts of like Didier Drogba, where whenever it's a big game and you need a goal, he steps up and scores. That's what Vieira was.
I think I would have gone for Zidane, but he's not allowed, is he? Because he's born in France.
Yeah, so I mean, you've just picked a player. Like,
so I'm going to go for
Messi.
I'm torn between two strikers. I think either Samuel Eto'o or Didier Drogba.
No.
Honestly, I do. I think Samuel Eto'o was he 3-time Champions League winner. He won the treble twice. I bet there's not many players in world football that have won 2 trebles. In the European game anyway. He's won the African Player of the Year 4 times. He used to score goals for fun. He's had a end to his career. I don't know what's happened to him because he lost his pace. He was such a fast player. He was absolute sharpshooter in the box as well. But he lost his pace and he went out. Where's he now? Russia, Turkey, China? One of them.
He's in Turkey.
Getting paid an absolute tab.
Desailly won back-to-back Champions Leagues as well. Like,
yeah, but he didn't win 2 trebles.
Well, no, because he was at Marseille.
Yeah, like, but he was also at Chelsea.
When they were when they were dreadful.
Didier Drogba as well, not a bad shout. Big Dids.
No,
didn't do it for a long enough time though.
I don't think he's in close to them.
I heard the other day that he only once scored over 20 Premier League goals.
I think he did it only
scored
once
over 12 goals twice.
Yeah, over 12 goals twice.
That is mental.
And then of course he had that crazy season at Marseille before he went to Chelsea.
But he was the epitome of a big game player.
Yeah, but I mean...
But he's got a Henry reputation with a Giroud goal scoring record.
Oh my goodness.
George Wright calling out Didier
Shots
Drogba
fired.
at the end there.
No, he's not wrong.
Yeah. All right, there we have it. So one of those lot. Really.
Laurent.
Well done, Ishan Sodi.
Mustafa Hadji.
Antonio Giusti has the next question. He says, who is the most underrated club icon? Hashtag Sunday Vibes. Some big names in here. I'm going to throw in a left field shout straight away.
There you go.
How about this one? Victor Valdez. Victor Valdez is so underappreciated. The guy won absolutely everything at Barcelona, and admittedly he was playing behind an extremely talented team, but he gets little to no credit for any of their success. And since he's left and joined Man United failed, he was exceptional at Middlesbrough for the first half of this season especially. And at Barcelona, mainly because Casillas was so strong at Real Madrid and the team was so good in front of him, he got all credit and didn't get enough starts on the international stage. But what a goalkeeper he was at times.
They noticed when he was injured though, because they had to play Pinto.
Exactly.
One of the worst keepers I've ever seen.
What a goalkeeper he was, and he gets no appreciation in what was potentially the greatest team in football history. So I'm going to say Victor Valdez in between the sticks. Anybody else got a better suggestion than Big Double V?
Go on, mate.
Well, I want Spanish as well.
Oh?
Plays for Real Madrid. The one and only Guti.
Oh, I love Guti.
What a player, mate.
He was outrageous.
Don't remember you're going to say Redondo or something.
He won 3 Champions Leagues.
I would love you to.
Who, Guti?
3 Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
He made like 400 appearances for Real Madrid, and because he was he had all the talent in the world, but he was just a bit...
Was he a one-club man?
No, he went to Besiktas.
But did he start at Real Madrid?
Yeah.
That's mental. So he was an academy graduate through the Galacticos era.
Yeah.
Yeah, La Fabrica.
That is ridiculous.
But he was... His back heels were like, you see the 2 back heel assists. One he did to Zidane. Do you remember that one where
he runs through 1-on-1?
Yeah, and he goes back.
He runs through 1-on-1.
That was a Benzema one,
yeah. It, and Benzema just slots it in. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
The Zidane one's even better. It's like he's outside the box. He's like got eyes on the back of his head. He just turns around, just flicks it, and it goes straight through at 5 players.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Zidane just scores, slots it away. He was just so, and he only got 13 caps for Spain.
That's mental. That's obscene. That's like Michael Carrick for England numbers.
But he's the kind of player as well that like a bunch of managers wouldn't like because he did things that were like great to watch and not necessarily like the rational thing to do.
Yeah,
true.
Like so, I mean, he's like the epitome of what people like Guardiola and Wenger and like. You know, Ancelotti and all the people who want to play beautiful football, like he's the epitome of what they've been trying to do, I think.
He was a bit of a handful as well, I think, off the pitch as well.
And he had the slickest lid. His hair was so greased back. He had like the weirdest Alice band at some stage. I was like, God almighty, Goosey, that's got to go, son. If he'd have cut his hair short, I reckon he'd have got about another 30 caps for Spain.
Yeah, like Ramos did. Like
Sergio Ramos did. What about you, Pata?
Mine's actually a Spaniard as well. Mine is Gaisca Mendieta.
Oh, what a player.
Like, played for Valencia. And actually, when I said Figo before as the player I grew up pretending to be, I pretended to be Mendieta as well. Like he actually broke into the Valencia team as a right back. He was just like, just playing right back in the game because I think their regular was injured, and then I think they were up in the second half, and he apparently just started stepping into midfield and spraying passes and beating guys and stuff, and he turned into the best midfielder in Europe when Zidane was playing, when Figo was playing, when Guardiola was still playing, when Scholes was playing. Like for 2 seasons, he won UEFA's best midfielder in Europe. He took Valencia to 2 Champions League finals.
Lost them both.
He then got he then got moved to Lazio, where he was just like completely misused, played out of position. Like it was.
Was
it
he
was
the world
really,
record
really
transfer at that time?
I think so.
It's
He was up
48
there
million
around
euros.
there,
It's a lot,
wasn't it? Yeah.
But he was an incredible player. He was so talented, and he wasn't the only person to get misused around that time as well. It happened to Juan Sebastian.
And then I remember him rotting at Middlesbrough. Absolutely rotting.
You say that, but Middlesbrough fans remember him as a legend. Middlesbrough
I'm sure they
fans
do.
love
Why-
guys.
how
They
did
also think Ravanelli's a legend.
Ravanelli is a legend. What
What,
are you
of
talking
Middlesbrough?
about?
How
Yeah, he's
did they
better than
get him?
Scholes.
How did they get him?
I don't know,
They
I
must have
think
him and
they got-
Janino at the same time. How has that happened?
But I
Yeah.
think they got him on loan initially
Yeah.
to Middlesbrough, and then they made
Yeah,
it
he
a
was
permanent
on
deal.
loan.
But
He was on loan.
absolutely fantastic bit of business from Middlesbrough, honestly. Who have
And
they
he went
got?
to Barca
Who have they
as
got in
well.
central midfield at the moment?
Stuart Downing.
Forshaw, Clayton,
Yeah, big names compared to Gais Mendieta back in the day. Big names.
Rock 'em back.
Gaston Ramirez.
Next question comes from Darren Seatek-Beng. That's an interesting one. Just got that pronunciation spot on. He says, has Zidane finally proven that he is an elite manager? Patrick Van Straten, I know you're going to say no. Why?
I don't think that he's got any particularly great tactical knowledge. Like he is good at some things. Like he's got that team playing well together, I guess. But he's also just got one of the most talented squads that you've ever seen. Like if you wanted to measure managers, like just their absolute quality, like what they add to a team, then what you'd want is to give every manager in the world the exact same kind of 11 faceless players of exactly the same quality and see who would do best with that, okay? And there are managers who would add value. So Jardim would add value. Pochettino would certainly add value. Guardiola as well. And Zidane, I think he basically just gets the best level out of the players he has. In this case, the best level out of the players he has is like world class.
Yeah.
That's my issue with Zidane.
But if he
That's
goes...
fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He might win 2 Champions Leagues in a row. I'm not
But that's
begrudging that. I'm saying he doesn't deserve
He'd be the
it.
first manager in history to do that. In the history of the Champions League anyway. Obviously people did it in the European
Okay,
Cup.
yeah, but we know that things like luck play a certain part in that. Like winning
I'm
two
not having it.
winning 2
Nah.
Champions Leagues in a row. You
You-
don't think that you can get unlucky and just happen to go out in like the quarter final or
100%,
something?
but you cannot luck your way through, what is it now in the Champions League over 2 seasons, about 20 games?
No, my point is, yeah, you can. You can definitely luck your way. Teams luck their way through whole seasons.
But no,
a Champions League season is 13 games long.
Not
You don't
one
think
mistake.
But you can. But the thing is, okay, they're going to be better than most of the teams in most of those games anyway. It's only once they get to the later rounds that they actually need to be beating teams that are very, very good. If you get lucky in a couple of those games, and they definitely did against Bayern Munich, how many onside were they given which were actually offside?
Yeah.
How lucky were they that Casemiro didn't get sent off? Can we deny that that's luck? That's not saying that all it is luck, but luck plays a part.
I agree. However, my caveat to this would be, I don't think you have to be a tactically amazing manager to be one of the elite. I
Okay.
think if you win bucket loads of trophies, and like you say, your point on getting the best out of world-class players, if you can get the very best out of players at your disposal and win trophy after trophy after trophy, you're an elite manager.
But then why couldn't Wenger do the same thing
Because
with Real
he never
Madrid?
won a Champions League.
No, but if you put him in with this Real Madrid squad,
He may well have done, but that's
he's not a tactical genius, but he's just very
but
good at like man management.
That's a hypothetical, whereas this is actually happening.
Well, no, you're hypothesising that he's going to win a second Champions League, and that if he does it, it'll be because of his managerial quality and not because of luck or because of like some other random factor.
What do you think, George?
Well, it's just, I think at Madrid, it's always the case, and especially in the last, since Perez has come back, whoever's best at management seems to get the best out of players, really. It's like Ancelotti was the same. He was so good managing that squad that it done well. And Zidane is probably arguably one of the best managers in football. Whether he is an elite manager per se is up for debate. But it's just like when people said, oh, Guardiola, whoa, he ain't done anything until he comes to England. And it's just, I think that's kind of true with Zidane in a way, because I don't think you can see with Barcelona under Pep and at Bayern as well, that he drilled that team to in a system.
Yeah, he
perfection.
was a real tactical innovator though, Guardiola, wasn't he? That's what set him apart.
And I don't think Zidane would see the same success he might see in the Bayern Munich side, but if he went to England, I think he'd struggle more, for example, with that City squad than Pep. did this season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that as well, because he's not a tactical innovator. But you can't deny that at the moment he is getting the very best out of an incredibly elite bunch of players, which is actually harder said than done. It is hard to come in and manage personalities of that stature. Admittedly, it's easier when you're Zidane because you are one of the greatest players in football history. So who's going to question you? Whereas I think Pep, being a tactical innovator, has it's kind of thrown him into media attention in a way it hasn't done with Zidane. Nobody's talking about Zidane going, oh, he could go to Bayern Munich. He's that sort of manager. He can move on and take another top club over. Whereas I think they were talking about that with Guardiola after about 2 seasons.
He's got a much more balanced squad though than a lot of Real Madrid managers have had to deal with in the past. Like if you look at his team, if you're in charge of that Real Madrid team now, you know that you could lay out a pretty conventional formation with one of the best in the world in every single position. Whereas Ancelotti, whilst he also had a phenomenally talented team, he had to solve a problem, which was how do I get all this attacking talent on the field and how do I make this midfield work? And he ended up, putting Di Maria in a 3-man midfield, and it was really innovative, and they played incredible football. They were the best team in Europe by far that season. I mean, I don't grudge him his success, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference between solving problems and simply having a word in a player's ear. That's what I think.
Good point, man. Good point. Well made. So that's all we've got time for on today's Sunday Vibes. Thanks very much for your questions anyway. And before we do anything else, make sure you check out Sky Sports this afternoon. They've got the battle for top 4 and the battle for the La Liga title, which Barcelona and Real Madrid can both still win. Let us know who you think is going to win in the comments right now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.